Welcome to the world of Canada's 1-cent treasures. Step into the fascinating history of the Canadian 1-cent coin, a small piece of copper that tells a big story. From its humble beginnings to rare and valuable additions, each penny holds a legacy of craftsmanship, heritage, and hidden worth. Some rare dates, mint marks, and errors can transform an ordinary-looking cent into a collector's dream worth thousands, or even millions, today. Whether you're a curious beginner or a seasoned collector, prepare to uncover the secrets behind Canada's most iconic little coin. Welcome to the world of Canada's 1-cent treasures. Step into the fascinating history of the Canadian 1-cent coin, a small piece of copper that tells a big story. Nice! I'll give you an engaging, accurate 8-paragraph deep dive on the 2007 Canadian 1-cent penny. The P/plated discussion, specs, rarity, error varieties, and realistic value, and clearly debunk the million-dollar/billionaire overnight claim. I'll keep each paragraph focused so you can use this directly as a long-form script or narration. 1. Opening and reality check. The idea that a 2007 Canadian penny, even one with a P or unusual minting, will make someone a millionaire or billionaire overnight is a sensational myth. Modern Canadian pennies, including 2007 issues, were produced in the millions, and the vast majority trade for only a small premium over face value unless they have extreme errors or perfect, ultra-rare grading. Serious price jumps happen for a handful of verified error coins or ultra-high graded proof specimens, not the run-of-the-mill circulation strikes. 2. What the 2007 penny looks like and who designed it. The 2007 Canadian 1-cent features the familiar maple leaf twig reverse by G. E. Kruger Gray and the obverse portrait of Queen Elizabeth II used at the time. It's a small, plain-edged coin 19.05 millimeters across. Visually identical to many recent pennies except for composition changes that affect magnetism and weight. These are the design elements collectors look at first when attributing varieties. 3. Specifications and composition, magnetic versus non-magnetic varieties. There are two composition families that matter for 2007. The common copper-plated steel, magnetic, cents, and the much smaller group of copper-plated zinc, non-magnetic cents. The magnetic, steel, examples weigh about 2.35 g and the non-magnetic, zinc, around 2.25 g. Both are 19.05 mm diameter and 1.45, 1.5 mm thick. The big difference to collectors is that the non-magnetic examples have a much smaller mintage and therefore command more interest. 4. Mintage numbers and how rare is rare. Sources list very large circulation mintage for magnetic 2007 cents, hundreds of millions, while the non-magnetic 2007 run is tiny by comparison, roughly 9.6 million. Different catalogs give slightly varying figures depending on how they separate strike types and mint rolls. That 9 to 10 million non-magnetic pieces is far less than the magnetic billions, but it's still a large production by numismatic standards, not a unique, one-off rarity. So rare here is relative, uncommon in circulation, not unique or million-dollar rare. 5. P mint mark/logo confusion. What does P mean, and did 2007 have it? Collectors often confuse the P or Royal Canadian Mint logo marks with US-style mint marks. In Canada's modern pennies, the small RCM logo, or changes in composition, magnetic versus non-magnetic, are the real identifiers. The P as a plated indicator is commonly associated with later nickel coins, not a widespread official penny mint mark for 2007. In short, 2007 is better cataloged by magnetic versus non-magnetic and by RCM logo variants than by a canonical P mint mark. 6. Error varieties that can be valuable, but usually aren't millions. What can push a 2007 penny into higher price brackets are documented mint errors. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, die breaks, doubled dies, major planchet flaws, or rare composition mix errors. These error coins occasionally sell for tens, hundreds, or in very rare cases low thousands of dollars. But such prices require sharp photographic/professional grading provenance, PCGS/NGC, and a verifiable marketplace sale. Typical error examples from 2007 that collectors chase do not break the million-dollar barrier. 7. Realistic market values and high-grade examples. Typical circulated 2007 magnetic pennies are worth face value to a few dollars to collectors. The non-magnetic variety, or high-grade uncirculated pieces, may sell for a few to a few dozen dollars in the marketplace, depending on grade and eye appeal. Documented, slabbed, perfect examples, or certified error pieces can fetch higher sums. But authoritative price guides and recent auction records show values in the modest hundreds at most for most high-end 2007 examples, not millions. If you see million-dollar claims, ask for the auction record, certificate, and provenance. 8. Bottom line for collectors and sellers. The 2007 Canadian cent is interesting to modern collectors because of composition splits and error possibilities, and uncommon non-magnetic examples are worth more than the mass-produced magnetic cents. However, realistic collecting means hunting for provenance, certified errors, and high grades, and expecting modest returns, not instant fortunes. If your aim is to spot real value, weigh for magnetism, examine for die errors or doubling, and when in doubt, get a professional grade and verification before believing any sensational price tag. Want this rewritten as a confident 5-minute spoken script with a punchy hook and closing call to action for your YouTube voiceover? I can convert these 8 paragraphs into a tight spoken script and add a short hook plus suggested on-screen shots. Nice. Here's an accurate, engaging 8-paragraph deep dive on the 2001 Canadian 1 cent, penny. The P/plated discussion, specs, error varieties, market values, and a clear debunking of the million-dollar/billionaire overnight claim. I'll keep each paragraph focused so you can use this straight away as a long-form script or narration. 1. Reality check, myth versus fact. The headline claim that a 2001 Canadian penny with a P mint mark will make you a millionaire or billionaire overnight is a sensational myth. Modern Canadian pennies were produced in the hundreds of millions and, except for a tiny number of confirmed rarities or dramatic authenticated errors, 2001 cents trade for modest premiums, not millions. Always ask for auction provenance and greater certification, PCGS/NGC, before believing extreme price claims. 2. Design and visual ID. The 2001 penny carries the classic maple leaf twig reverse by G. E. Kruger Gray and the obverse bust of Queen Elizabeth II used at that time. Visually, it's the same size and design that collectors expect. Plain edge, 19.05 mm diameter, and the unmistakable maple leaves. So identification depends on composition marks, magnetism, and close inspection rather than dramatic design differences. 3. Specifications and composition split, what P actually signals. By the early 2000s, Canada rotated materials. Many 2001 circulation cents are copper-plated zinc, non-magnetic, while P or plated designations on modern RCM issues are associated with copper-plated steel, magnetic, or special-plated specimens. The catalog entries list 2001 cents as mainly copper-plated zinc for circulation, but plated steel, proof/sets, and some varieties exist. So the coin's metal, magnetic test, is the first simple check. 4. Mintage and how common 2001 really is. Official mintage figures show very large totals for 2001. Wikipedia/NGC list 919,358,000 for 2001 circulation cents. So ordinary business strike 2001 pennies are common. There are smaller runs of plated or set examples, but even those are not unique singles. Rarity in this context is relative, uncommon versus unique. If you have a raw 2001 penny, it's very likely not scarce in the absolute sense. 5. Error types that can lift value, but not into millions. What can make a 2001 penny worth substantially more than face value are authenticated mint errors. Significant off-center strikes, major doubled dies, lamination/planchet flaws, or composition errors. These error coins sometimes fetch tens to a few hundred, or in exceptional documented cases a few $1,000s. But prices depend on grade, photographic provenance, and buyer confidence. Casual listings for rare million-dollar pennies usually lack verifiable auction records. 6. Market values, realistic ranges. Price guides and recent market listings show typical circulated 2001 pennies at or near face value. Uncirculated or high-grade certified examples often sell for small premiums, tens of dollars to a few dozen, and specialist error specimens can reach higher values when slabbed and proven. Example guide listings show MS66 prices in the low tens of dollars and non-magnetic/plated catalog variants often quoted around similar modest premiums, not 6-figure or 7-figure sums. 7. How to examine and authenticate. Quick checks for sellers or finders. Do a magnet test, magnetic plated steel, non-magnetic. Nice. Here's an accurate, source-backed 8-paragraph deep dive on the 1998 Canadian 1 cent with a clear explanation about the P mark, specs, known errors, market values, and why the $1 million/billionaire overnight claim is a myth. I'll keep each paragraph tight so you can use it as a long-form script or narration. 1. Reality check, myth versus fact. The claim that a 1998 Canadian penny, even with a P or plated marking, will make you a millionaire or billionaire overnight is sensational and unsupported. Modern Canadian cents from 1998 were minted in the hundreds of millions, and only a tiny number of authenticated error coins or ultra-high-grade specimens show meaningful premiums, not seven-figure prices. Always ask for auction provenance and third-party certification before believing extreme price claims. 2. Design and quick visual ID. The 1998 cent uses the familiar maple leaf twig reverse by G. E. Kruger Gray and the obverse bust of Queen Elizabeth II current at the time. It's a small coin, 19.05 mm diameter, with a plain edge. Visually it matches other late 1990s Canadian small cents. So identification of rarities depends on composition, mint marks on special issues, and visible mint errors rather than a radically different design. 3. Specifications and typical composition. Standard circulation 1998 Canadian pennies were copper-plated, either copper-plated zinc or plated steel depending on production runs. Typical weight is about 2.25 g in diameter, is almost equal to 19.05 millimeters. These physical checks, weight and a magnet test for steel/plated steel, are the first, easiest ways collectors separate common pieces from the less common composition varieties. 4. Mintage. How common is 1998? Authoritative price guide catalogs list the 1998 circulation mintage in the hundreds of millions. NGC's guide shows roughly 999,578,000 cents for 1998, so ordinary 1998 pennies are abundant. That scale of production means that unless your coin is a documented error or part of a tiny special issue, it's not inherently rare. 5. What P means, and whether 1998 used it. Collectors sometimes confuse small symbols and plated marks. The P is generally used by some mints to indicate plated compositions on later issues, but 1998 circulation pennies are not normally catalogued with an official P mint mark the way you'd expect on later nickel issues. In other words, P claims on raw 1998 pennies are usually misinterpretations or are applied to special non-circulating pieces. Focus instead on composition, magnetic versus non-magnetic, and documented varieties. 6. Error varieties that actually command premiums. What can raise a 1998 penny's value are verified mint errors, broad or off-center strikes, planchet/clad missing examples, doubling DDR, striking through foreign material, or dramatic die breaks. These error coins can sell for multiples of face value, sometimes tens or a few $100s, if they are dramatic and well documented. Listings and auction records show error examples trading for modest but real premiums. These are exceptions, not the rule. 7. Realistic market values and high-grade examples. Price guides and recent sales place most 1998 cents in the range from face value up to a few $dozen for high-grade MS examples. Certain error pieces or top-graded proofs can fetch more. For example, market listings show MS64/MS66 red examples and certain error strikes valued in the low tens to low hundreds of dollars. Not the 6 or 7-figure sums you sometimes see in viral claims. Verify any high-value listing by checking completed auction records and slab certificates.